Welcome to day 135 of the 300 Movie Challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of August 2005, which was 40-Year-Old Virgin.
The delivery was so on point.
You know, I think I was just too defeated to hate this.
Yeah.
I didn't end up hating this. But I really don't know why I didn't hate this. It's not good. At all. And there were many things about it I really did not like, but I didn't come away with the sense of anger or hatred like something else, and I don't know why. It probably just completely drained me and I felt that I couldn't react anymore.
You mean like American or no?
No,
It
that
was
which should
American
not be
Wedding.
named.
No, that was Rage.
Yeah.
This is
That
just
which-
Oh no, I meant as an example to compare it to.
Yeah, it wasn't. That was Rage. This wasn't Rage. It was just defeat.
It's kind of just like we're going through another one of these movies again.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at the name. Like,
Sure,
what do you
yeah.
think it's gonna be?
I guess the thing
Yeah.
is that with the name, this is what you expect. With the other movie, that was not what you would have expected.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
And like the thing with this is that they always go. It's like the same.
If you've seen it once, you've seen it every other time they try to do it.
Yeah,
They try to change up the plot line and everything, but then it's just
it's just hiding the same tropes in a different coat of paint.
yeah.
Speaking of same tropes, there was another fucking dance sequence that comes out of goddamn nowhere.
Yeah, why?
So stupid.
It turned even before the dance scene. There was like a semi-musical moment where at the last scene he just starts randomly singing, and you're just like, why?
Ugh. I see, like, I don't know what to even say, like, about the actual content of the movie, because it's so whatever. Like, I don't
It's like
know.
we've been through the same things
Yeah,
before.
I've run out of things to say about these kinds of
Let's
characters.
see.
It's
There was
just
the prostitutes. There was
there's the
misunderstanding.
oh yeah, yeah.
What other tropes were there?
The douchebag friend.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, there's just the whole mentality of like, you know, and I know that like the movie's supposed to say that it doesn't matter, but like throughout 80%
It
of
doesn't
them,
come out.
throughout
come off
throughout
as
80% of the movie pretends that it matters. So
Yeah.
that just whole, I fucking hate that idea of just like, you know, that this makes you worthless or whatever, because it doesn't fucking matter.
that. No.
Like, grow up. Like, you know, really, just honestly, it
Why should it bother anyone? It's
Okay.
no one's business.
no, because here's the
Exactly.
thing. This movie, it's like, again, you could say that, oh, well, the movie says that it's not like this at the end of the movie or whatever. It's like, yeah, at the very end, but for the rest of the movie, it keeps harping on these points, so I'm gonna harp on them too. It's where they kind of put it, like, they kind of say this in the movie in a sense, but again, it's not done in the right way, where it's like, you know, oh, it's that you're putting it on this pedestal as something that's, like, way better than everything else, and it's like, well, no, that's actually a problem, because
Yeah.
in terms of physical sensations, there isn't a difference. Okay? There isn't a difference between with someone else as with, like, messing with yourself or whatever. Like, it's the same nerves firing the same signals, okay? It's the same thing. There's emotional attachments and, like, stuff like that for another person, so that's a different thing. But, like, just, like, having sex to have sex with some random person because, oh, it's sex and it's important, like, it's literally, like, wrong, okay? That whole notion is just, like, wrong. So, and that really bothers me because I feel like this kind of shit is why we have so many fucking, like, man children who are all obsessed with, like, pickup artists and shit like that.
No,
Because-
it's very true.
Because
It's
that
very
it's a
true.
big fucking problem. Because that's, think about, okay, think about this, and again, I'm ignoring the actual plot of the movie because how many people are actually going to remember the plot of this fucking movie, but just think of it as a concept. You have this loser loner guy who, just by being a nice person, ends up getting the girl. Right?
Yeah.
And they make him so much of a loser that someone else watching him, who is kind of, a loner, whatever, would be like, oh, wow, this guy's worse than me, therefore, and he got a date, therefore I could totally get one, because I'm clearly not as much of a loser as he is, right? And they're ignoring the fact that, like, one of the things this movie does kind of right is that, like, the main guy and the main girl are actually not terrible with each other.
Yeah,
Granted, they fuck it up with the misunderstanding and shit, but whatever, we've already gone over this a billion times.
Yeah.
So, it just creates this horrible image where people, again, and also with that, there's the goal of sex, ooh, it just turns into this mentality that is just so pervasive in so many people that it just bothers the hell out of me so much. And it's... You don't... And that's the other thing, like, even when they talk about how it's not that important or whatever, and that, like, they're in the relationship anyway, it's like, they still have this whole thing about, like, oh, after so many dates, we're gonna have sex, or, oh, after we're married, we're gonna have sex. That's still part of the thing, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to, fine. If you don't, fine. It doesn't matter. It's like...
There's a term for that. It's called asexual.
Well,
We're just
not
interested.
Yeah, and it doesn't even mean that you have to be asexual. It can be like, you just don't, you don't have to deal with it, right? It's, again, personal choice is personal choice for whatever reason, and that's how it is. Yeah. And again,
you do you, boo.
Yeah, it's this unnecessary pressure that I honestly feel is fucking up a lot of people. And then again, on top of it, the rest of the movie is just stupid and pointless. So, what? Why was this made? Who is this actually for? Like, well, I guess I described the people who it's for. But, I don't know. It's like, I'm just thinking of this from, like, a movie maker perspective. It's like, because isn't the whole supposed, the romanticized idea of people who make movies is, oh, they had something they wanted to tell to the world. What the fuck did they do for this movie? What was that? And I know, of course, money, right? That's the thing, but, like... well, it was the highest grossing of its month, so I guess that worked in that way, and apparently there's some sort of sequel or something. So... I don't know. It's just... I can't get angry at this anymore unless it truly does something unbelievably aggravating, because I just don't care anymore. I've been defeated by these kinds of movies. They're so nothing and so who gives a shit that I don't give a shit anymore. That's basically my feeling on it, and it just, ugh. I spent the large part of this movie clipping my toenails. That's what I was doing during most of it. I get okay. Well, because here, you are two presumably mostly heterosexual women.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Am I crazy?
No.
Am I thinking of this weird? Do you have any other insight on this from your perspective, seeing all of these movies basically putting interaction with you people on some sort of weird pedestal?
Well, I guess
Disgusting.
the main thing that, like, bothers me is just it reinforces that sense of entitlement that you were talking about before. With, like...
Yeah, where, like...
Yeah.
Guys are entitled to have their way and
Where...
stuff.
It also feeds into the whole... It's just a very big problem with people, like... Because nowadays we hear about, oh, like, boys in high school, they bring guns to school because a girl won't take them to prom. And then you have, like, women's throats getting slashed on the street because they rebuff a catcall. And I'm just like... Well, this is why we carry pepper spray, and this is why I don't talk to men that seem really pushy. It's, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that there are so many movies like this that are successful. This one, and then this one wasn't as bad as like That Which Should Not Be Named. But the other movie, I felt like it was just so much enforcing this toxic masculinity that exists in our society, where men are like, yeah, let's go fuck bitches, because that's what we do, to be like alpha males.
Like that thing where it's like a double standard where if a guy is with a lot of girls, then he's immediately he's held up in esteem apparently in our society.
Yeah, and then,
But then
if a girl
if a
doesn't,
girl
she's
is
a
with a
hoe.
lot of guys, then she's automatically like down in the dirt.
She's a hoe. It's like not even bad. She's just a hoe.
Yeah.
And there was another point I wanted to make, but I forgot what it was. It had something to do with your point, Maya, but I forgot what it was.
People getting murdered.
It
Entitlement.
had something to do with entitlement. What was it?
Probably take your time. We're only at 11 minutes.
Yeah.
What was the thing that I was thinking of? Can you run through the entitlement portion of your
Do I remember everything I said? Oh my god, do I remember? It was like, what was it?
The movies like this?
Oh yeah, movies like this, they reinforce the sense of entitlement, like men.
Oh, no, I remember what I was gonna
Okay.
say. Another thing with like movies like this too is that all the women, this movie at least had like I guess she is the female lead. At least she, like, as Valen said, the chemistry was there and stuff, but
I mean, it wasn't great, but it was okay.
yeah.
It was
She was
manageable.
okay.
Yeah.
For a lot of the movies, though, all the women kind of just go along with it, or they're just as...
Do they have personalities?
No, they're just kind of there to be...
Trophies.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, is anyone who wants to contest this, provide factual evidence that like women are not portrayed as flat cardboard cutouts in these kinds of movies. I challenge you guys to find examples if you want to try to contend that. Because I am not having any of this bullshit about, oh, but you're just picking it apart because, like, you're women who don't like these movies. Yeah, we're not women who like these movies.
Also,
We
hi,
also
I am not woman who doesn't like this movie.
Yeah, we also have not women who doesn't like these movies.
Woman and not woman.
Yeah.
One not woman.
Hello, yes, I am not woman.
But yeah, any of you males who like to call women like weird things, all of you males who would like to defend this kind of movie and say that if you guys can even think that a cardboard cutout is your ideal woman, I think you need to reassess your life a little bit.
No, actually, that's the best case scenario. If they think a cardboard cutout is what they need, then all they need is a literal cardboard cutout. And then they won't,
that's
like,
why
go
body
after
pillows
anyone.
exist.
Exactly.
Oh
So
my
they-
god.
So if they just go for those things, then they won't bother actual people.
Yeah, actually, never mind. Go for it. Go for it. Go get your weird blow-up dolls and things like that. It's fine.
Because here's
We
the
don't
thing,
need y'all.
like, I feel like, I don't remember if I said this or not before. I've definitely said it in some sort of conversation. I don't remember if it was on here or even with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, especially like late middle school, early high school, I could have kind of fallen down this thought process path, and I didn't. And
I think you have talked about
yeah,
this
and
with
I
me.
don't really know why, because, like, I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, I felt that kind of, I did feel kind of a resentment and, like, you know, why don't they like me and stuff like that. And I don't really know what brought me out of it. So I understand someone's mentality if they're in that place. At least, again, that mentality. The actions done based on that mentality are completely unforgivable, right? So I'm not judging that at all. I'm just saying the thought process and like kind of that initial mindset, I would say I was there at some points, but you have to realize
that's just ingrained into our society, though.
Well, it's not. No, hold on. You have to realize that like they're people. Right?
Yeah.
Women are people, okay? They have brains that react to things, and they do things, and they talk about stuff, and they like things, and they don't like things, and, you know...
They're just like you!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you don't need to put them on this extra of, like, you know, why does it... You know, you don't have to add this extra layer just for them, because they're people... Right?
Yeah.
It's just it's this whole pedestal thing which the movie tries to talk about and fails, but it's true because you are basically psyching yourself out for literally no reason, and you're conditioning yourself to think of this poorly because you're setting yourself up to fail, which will make you mad that you failed. So stop. Like, I don't really know what to say because I don't know what it was. I think it was just...
Maybe you just understood that girls are also people.
I
don't know.
I do know, let's see. Trying to think of how much I should say. In terms of personal stuff with other people. I guess it's just like, I don't know, I started meeting some people who I hadn't met before, and who, because I especially, like, if you're in school, for example, and, you know, you've known most of these people at your school for, like, many years, right? So, it can be hard to kind of get into that with all of this background stuff that you don't, you know what I mean? So I get that. So maybe that was the help for me because, again, I kind of met this new group of people somewhere else, and it was a different kind of social outlet for me, and it was these people who were kind of, we first met each other, you know, when we're like 15, 16, right? So we don't have any preconceived notions before that. So it helps establishing, like, a person as a person, right? And working through also those kinds of, you know, challenges with people of, you know, I guess whichever sex you fancy. So, and like, I'm not gonna act like I'm some noble individual who is totally pure and made all the right decisions. Absolutely not. But, because I would say, like, I had actually, like, a very, how do I describe this? I was in an environment that was it was a good environment to mess up in. Not just, like, socially, but also just, like, actually trying things, like, besides that. But the social aspect is a big part of that. Just in terms of, like, interacting with people who were new, so they wouldn't, like, you know, have preconceived notions. But also it was a very, like, non-judgmental environment just because of how it was set up. So, if you did do something that wasn't that great, people would kind of realize it, but as long as you weren't an asshole about it and you realized, ooh, I kind of fucked up, like, people understood that.
Yeah.
So, you kind of do have to work through the motions and realize, like, wait, what I'm doing is kind of shitty. And then stop and do something else. And you have to kind of go through this process. And again, I don't know, there isn't a checklist, okay? There's no, if you do A, B, C, and D, you do great. It's like, it doesn't work like that. Nothing works like that. And especially, this is another problem, I think, for movies like this, is in terms of relationships, it puts this up as like, oh, if you just do this, 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 and this, then boom, you have a girlfriend, right? It's like, no, you know, there's no magic formula that works. So, and that frustrates people because they want to have the easy checklist of answers that they can do and that can get them the prize, right? So, it's
not so simple.
Yeah, and it sucks because, you know, sure, would it be good if it was easy? I don't know. Would it? I mean, I'm happy with my situation, and was it easy? I don't know. I mean, there's how it just kind of like my relationship right now just kind of formed so abstractly and slowly and randomly, and I'd say we weren't really comfortable with each other for like 2 years. So it takes a long time, and you know,
I guess that's another thing. With all of these movies and stuff, it's like they get together, they confess, and then sometimes, like, the scene right afterward is that they get married. But it's kind of like, usually there's a lot of time in between those two things.
Yeah. And look,
I guess it's... Yeah,
Usually.
it has to do with, I guess, maybe some people don't separate fantasy from reality.
I mean,
that's my assumption.
I think
but...
it's mostly just because it has to fit in terms of a movie storyline.
Mm.
But it's... I mean, look, I've had, 16-year-old summer camp flings or whatever, if you want to call it that lasted a week and a half. But that's what that is, right?
Mm.
That doesn't lead to
anything.
Yeah, I mean, it could, but you would then have to do extra things after that, and, so, I don't know. I don't even know where I'm really going with this. It just frustrates me that there's so many misconceptions, and that's, like, ingrained in so many, media things that people just take for granted, and it can really mess people up, and it sucks.
It does.
It sucks. We didn't even talk about this movie at all, but I don't care.
I mean, I think we talked about this movie in various other movie reviews.
Yeah, basically.
Oh yeah, that's true because it's not that different.
Nope.
So I guess if nothing else, we got some kind of discussion out of it in a different way. So I'd say that's successful enough.
Don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Don't be an asshole to women. Don't be an asshole to men. Don't be an asshole to yourself. Don't be an asshole to your mom or dad, because they're nice, maybe. I don't know.
And pets.
Oh yeah, be nice to your pets, please.
That said, if you're not interested, that's okay.
That too.
Also, don't take everything so fucking seriously.
That too.
Okay, that's another thing. Don't be like, oh, she doesn't like me, that therefore means that, something. No, it's just she said no. Get over yourself, dickhead.
It's kind of
just move on.
A good example is you're not friends with everyone, and you're not going to be friends, because a friendship is also, in a way, like a platonic relationship, basically, in the sense where... What?
More or less.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, you're not friends with everyone that you grew up with and stuff. And sometimes you don't click it with some people and stuff, and you just don't like each other. That doesn't mean that it makes you any less degrading or anything. It just means that you're just two different people that don't share anything with each other. That's all.
Also,
I guess here's a good way to put it. You're not a bad person until you do something bad. So
Yeah.
please, don't do something that you will regret or that someone else will regret you doing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, sometimes you can just figure it out and then you'll be okay.
and
That's just life.
And don't throw away friendship for potential anything like that, because
Yeah.
it's
You're more likely to have that friend at the end of the month, most of the time.
yeah, just whatever.
Friendships are also important.
Yep.
How many lessons did this review have?
I don't know.
This became a fable.
I think a book of fables.
So, that was that movie. We're gonna move on to the next one.
It's apparently German.
Oh,
That's so interesting.
It was like it's supposed to be
Oh,
in English, but it's a
actually,
German
that-
film, so that's the thing.
Actually,
Mhm.
it doesn't have to do with Germany, but I just remembered it because apparently it was like a Dutch cookie. Man,
Hmm?
you know those cookies that they used to give on United Airlines?
yeah,
The like really nice like crispy ones and stuff?
yeah,
They're
yeah.
replacing it with a different cookie.
Oh,
A maple cookie.
oh.
I was very sad when I learned that.
Oh,
It has nothing
no.
to do with this review. Oh, but
Yeah, so anyway, bye!